Welcome back. You're watching Business Morning on Channels Television. You can join the conversation on Twitter. I'm at CTV Harriet. You can tweet at BBrosen. Be glad to mind your business. And you can also tweet at Biz Morning. That's the show handle. Let's get your thoughts and comments on the topics we're talking about on the program. You can also tweet at the Big Brother at Channels TV and send us an email to businessmorning@channelstv.com. One of the stories we're tracking for you, of course, today, an accident on a major road, the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, owing to an exploded tanker and involving 4 other vehicles, has caused on a very serious traffic gridlock on the major road, on the express, coming out of Lagos and coming into Lagos. Of course, you know the economic importance of this particular road. It's a major road that takes you out of Lagos to connect to other parts of the country. That's going out of Lagos, but coming in, it's a little difficult for those going to work, going to school, and trying to, get to their places of business. Major issue. And the Lagos State Management Authority, as well as Lagos State Emergency Services, have tried to put out the fire and, of course, keep traffic under control. But let's quickly remind you of our poll question for the week. What should define Nigeria's mid to long-term agenda for Trump's presidency? Should it be socio-economy, security, or good governance? It's easy to be part of the poll. On Twitter, you can send us your thoughts to @BizMorning. You can also send us your comments and contributions via email to businessmorning@channelstv.com. So we saw a little bit of mixed trading yesterday from energy stocks that we track here on the program, about 7 of them. Let's quickly take a look at those. Starting with corn oil, that equity dropped about 4.98%. As well as Forte Oil, it was up 0.33%. The only green shoot on that index, on that list, was from Mobil. That equity appreciated 2.63% to finish at 195 Naira. But there was no movement on MRS or Seplat. Owando was off 4.88%. So at the end of the day, we saw index returning at 0.4%. Year to date is at minus 18.8%. And price to earnings at 38.1, with dividend yield at 2.1%. The Nigerian Association of Petroleum Explorationists is at the forefront of tackling the realities of the Nigerian oil and gas sector. Now, at its week-long annual international conference in Lagos on Tuesday, the organizing committee chairman and president-elect of the association, Biodun Adesonya, explains how the current economic ordeal is impacting on exploration business. Also at that event was the group managing director of the NNPC, Dr. Mekanti Baru. He used the opportunity to talk about the federal government's plans to address the issues that were raised at that conference. Let's listen.
Great impact on industry-wide financial performances, leading to reduction in operational activities, pervasive downsizing and right-sizing, staff salary reductions, amongst others. As if the sub-$50 oil price were not bad enough, Nigeria's revenue base is further delimited by peculiar challenges which include historical wastages, policy direction instabilities, cyclical insecurity, and vandalization of evacuation and export facilities in the Niger Delta region, resulting in reduction in daily production, JP funding reduction/delays to project deferment, leading to project deferment or outright cancellations, low reserve replacement ratio, and so on and so forth. These problems have negatively impacted every sector of the Nigerian economy, leading ultimately to the current economic recession the country is facing today. Nevertheless, amidst these daunting challenges, there are lessons to be learned, occasions for growth, and opportunities for investment. Therefore, in tackling these realities that we face as an industry and as a nation as a whole, We need to look inwards with a glimmer of hope. It is for this reason that the program for this year's conference was specially packaged to address some of these challenges by providing a platform for open and frank discussions in an atmosphere that is business-like and also very relaxing.
As in the past few years, the business environment has been quite challenging for our industry. We have faced challenges relating to low oil prices, production challenges due to infrastructure vandalization, inadequate joint venture funding, low reserves replacement, adequacy gap in technology, and shortage of skilled manpower, amongst a host of other issues. Most critical of all these challenges is the fact that they are all intertwined in a viral fashion. For example, the low oil price and deferred production challenges will lead to lower government revenues, which will have a negative impact in the amount of funds available for reinvestment to sustain production as well as incremental production. Similarly, there will be fewer funds to ensure propping up additional reserves to ensure adequate reserve replacement ratio. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as of today, we are all aware, or should I rather say, that we are technically in a recession. The oil sector accounts for approximately 90% of the nation's foreign exchange earnings. Therefore, there is no gainsaying the fact that some of the challenges highlighted above are part of the root causes of the recession. As we very well know, oil prices have dropped by more than 50% from the over $110 per barrel in June 2014 to the current level of slightly over $50 per barrel. Similarly, the chronic joint venture funding shortfalls being experienced in the industry have resulted in declining JV production from about 1 million barrels of oil per day 3 to 5 years ago to about 800,000 barrels of oil per day. This is coupled with vandalization of critical production infrastructure that have to be repaired as emergency cases at exorbitant costs at most times, which further compounds the utilization of the little available funds. The truth is that it is difficult to deliver the volumes without adequate funding. With an average JV cash flow requirement of about $600 million a month, coupled with flat low budget levels over the past years, this had led to underfunding of the industry by government, which has stymied production growth. Consequently, managing these funding issues is part of our most immediate challenges. In contrast, production from the production sharing contracts arrangements, where NNPC does not provide the funding for the production, has increased almost proportionately to JV production decline over the same period, thereby making the national oil production relatively flat. Unfortunately, unlike the PSC arrangement, the JV system provides more revenue to the government through equity liftings and higher royalties and taxes due to the higher fiscal take from onshore and shallow waters fiscal terms. The low crude oil price regime further amplifies this anomaly. What are we doing to tackle the reality of the challenges highlighted above? As stated by the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Dr. Ibe Kachiku, and myself at different fora, we are working assiduously with our joint venture partners to see that we exit the JV cash flow system and also clear our funding areas. To address this structural problem, which is further compounded by the security challenges in the Niger Delta, we are exploring alternative funding mechanism that allows the joint venture business finance itself by retaining its operating costs and capital allowances, the fiscal costs, in order to sustain and grow the business. Where the fiscal costs for any year are not sufficient to fund the budgetary requirements of the joint venture, part of the profit margin could be retained to fund the budget, and where necessary, external financing could also be thought to finance commercially viable and bankable capital projects without recourse to government treasury. The import of the above is that joint ventures will relieve government of the cash call burden by sourcing for its funds for its operations, estimated at about $7 to $9 billion annually. In 2016 alone, under funding of NNPC cash calls is estimated to be about $2.5 billion. This is aside the inherited arrears estimated of over $6 billion pre-2016. The JB cash call exit model we are pursuing guarantees government most of the revenue that normally accrues to it from the JB operations by lifting the royalty and tax oil upfront. This contributes about 75 to 85% of the accruable revenues to government. Consequently, the effect of government take will be minimized. We are working assiduously to kickstart this from 1st January 2017. God willing. In terms of security challenges, may I once again use this medium to appeal to those behind these indiscriminate acts of infrastructure vandalization to put an end forthwith to these despicable acts of sabotage. The destruction of critical energy infrastructure is a great threat to our environment, the economy, and energy security. The outage of these infrastructures is instrumental to the development and growth of the industry in particular and the country at large. It also has a negative effect on the level of funds to be distributed to the various tiers of government, resulting in the ripple effect on the economy. Year to date, in 2016 alone, we have recorded over 1,500 cases of vandalization of our pipelines. The cost of repairs is quite mind-boggling. What are we doing to resolve this? During my visit to the Chief of Defense Staff a few weeks ago, I informed him of my intention of setting up an all-inclusive advisory council on security, mainly to address all security and post-community agitations at the industry level. The advisory council is expected to be made up of representatives of key stakeholders, of course including NAVI. Aside this, we are continuously working with our host communities and security forces to see an end to this scourge. I am aware that choke points have been set up by the security forces around all areas of production operations. The security forces have assured me that they will continue to be civil in and live by the rules of engagement to ensure that we operate in a safe and secure environment. We will also review our community and social responsibility programs to see that we continue to touch the lives of our stakeholders in more positive ways. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, with respect to the low oil prices, we have adopted cost reduction and cost saving measures to ensure that we stay profitable and in business. Prior to my assumption as GMD, I drove the process as Chief Group Executive Director of Exploration and Production with our JV operators and production sharing contractors to renegotiate downwards all contracts in line with the collapse in crude oil prices. This exercise alone has saved the industry billions of dollars. We are also adopting a synergistic and collaborative approach to doing business going forward.
The Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Dr. Mekanti Baru, at the ongoing International Conference of the Nigerian Association of Petroleum Exploration is here in Nigeria, talking about the federal government's plans and, of course, looking at the realities and how the federal government plans to tackle those issues. Before him, you listen to the chairman and president-elect of the association, Biodun Adesanya. But Business Morning continues in just a moment. Stay with us.